while ago, when I was 10 years old, my grandpa decided to take me on a little trip because he really liked going for drives with me. We decided that we were going to stop by the river and have a little picnic by the dam. I thought this was awesome, and I was asking him about the dam, and he said, why don't we just go over it? So we went over the dam, and he had decided that it would be funny to tell me a couple of stories about how many people died building these dams. I was 10 years old, and I was thinking, like, this was a tomb for dead bodies at this moment, and we were driving over them. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I decided to do a little bit of research, and it turns out the biggest dam, only 112 people died during the making of it, and that was the Hoover Dam. Not all of them were buried in the thing, but there was one very unfortunate dog that died. Today, you will be able to describe the 3 main points of the Hoover Dam, including the history, construction, and purpose. The history of the Hoover Dam. It wasn't even named the Hoover Dam until 1947. Every spring, the raging Colorado River would flood over and destroy homes and farmlands around the surrounding area. Congress approved a project to regulate the river. How would you regulate a river? Well, with a dam. President Herbert Hoover approved the bill, but they were given a warning. 7 years maximum to build the dam, and every day that they went over that would be a big fine. It was built in Black Canyon of the Colorado River between Nevada and Arizona. It started being built in 1931 and took 5 years to build, finishing and becoming a fully operational hydroelectric power plant in 1936. It gave thousands of people jobs during the Great Depression. It was dedicated by Franklin Roosevelt in 1935. They had Apache Indians working in the as skywalkers as skyliners because they were agile and used to the altitude. Workers were a diverse bunch, from Native Americans all the way to immigrants. There were 5,251 workers that it took to build the dam. They used a few very unique tooling mechanisms, such as large steel framework to support the massive concrete arcs known as diversion tunnels. In the diversion tunnels alone, there were 41 deaths from building them. It was thought to be pneumonia, but later doctors said that it was probably carbon monoxide poisoning that was actually covered up so that they would not get in trouble for their workers. There were rail lines built around the dam site to transport large equipment and steel framework. There were satellite plants built along the river to produce concrete fast and easily. It took 2.5 million cubic meters of concrete to build the dam. That's enough to stretch across the United States. Gates were not just tiny doors in the dam, but they were actually a massive structure to let millions of gallons of water flow through. Construction of the dam led to Mead Lake, which to this day stands the largest water reservoir in the United States. The purpose of the dam was to control floods from fertile but arid farmlands, supply electricity power and water to the 3 states surrounding. It supplied electricity to Las Vegas, which used the revenues to finance more water projects in the area. In conclusion, let's review. The history, construction, and purpose. It was built in 1931 and started working in 1936. It used 2.5 million cubic meters of concrete, and it supplies power to over 8 million people. And now I'm going to end you with a joke. Where do fish keep their money? In riverbanks.